Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom Airsoft. It's good to see you again, and as always, if it's your first time here, then it is good to see you. And I hope you're going to stick around. Okay, well, welcome to our midweek video. As those of you who follow the channel will already know, we do a video every weekday, usually on a Wednesday, and we do a video every weekend, which would normally come out on a Saturday. Do occasionally do bonus uploads as well during the week, so if you aren't subscribed to the channel already and you've been enjoying my series of videos, then do please get subscribed. That way you won't miss any of my uploads, keep up to date on what's going on. And if you want any more content from myself, then you can find Rock Bottom Airsoft on Facebook and Instagram, so you can check us out on there for photos, discussions, that kind of thing. Okay, so midweek video. Normally look to do a gameplay, but as you all know, I'm still out of action, so we're doing 2 studio videos a week at the moment. And today, what we're going to have a look at is we're going to do a brief overview of a replica that I haven't got a lot of experience with. We're going to have a look at this. We're going to unbox it. This is the ASG M93R II. We're going to have a quick look at this. This replica was provided by my home site, Tazball Airsoft, here in the Scottish Highlands, just outside of Inverness. Basically, they've got quite a large shop where they sell replicas and everything that you need for an airsoft game. So they've got all sorts of bits and bats in there, and Tazball have asked me to do an overview of this pistol, which is one of the ones they currently carry in stock. So it's not mine, I haven't bought it, I don't own it, so I'm going to have to give it back. So we're going to have to do an overview of this. We'll unbox it, we'll have a look at it, see what I think on first impressions. We're not going to do any shooting with it, because as many of you know, I believe that the best test of a replica is to use it in the field. So I've done a bit of research on this one as well, so I'll give you an idea of what I think, and we'll just go through it together and get an idea of it, and then I'll give this back to Tazball before I get tempted to keep it. Okay, well, what we're dealing with here is this is the ASG M93R II. This is the packaging it comes in. On the front we have a picture of the replica, and obviously our ASG trademarks on there. On the front here we have details about the length, size, weight of it, that type of thing. There's a few specs for the pistol itself. This side we just have more markings, another picture of the replica. On the back here we have warnings just saying that it's not for sale to under 18s and all the usual warnings that you get on there. And on this side again we have more trademarks and another picture of the replica itself. On the back it's just plain and black. So let's figure out how we open this up and have a look what's inside. Now I do know this has been opened already as a review sample, as it were. Okay, so when we open up the box we are greeted with an instruction manual first of all. Now ASG instruction manuals, they tend to be reasonable. It's a glossy magazine, glossy paper should I say. So, you know, you've got quite good quality manual, and I always go on about the manuals a bit. So, in the front of the manual, we have our message from KWA. I'll get into that in a second. We have our precautions, and we have a table of contents on the first page there. Moving through the manual, we've got our safety rules, which is probably no doubt the usual of not shooting yourself in the face and not running around in public with it. We've got details on how to load the magazine, how to eject the magazine from the replica, how to fill it with green gas, that type of thing. And then we have details here on how to rack the slide, how to select fire and to put it on safe, details about the hammer, and details about the firing modes that it has. Also some details about what to do after shooting the replica. And then we've got some more details here about disassembly and how to take the replica down, which is nice when they include that, so that when you do take it down for cleaning and oiling, you've got some instructions there on how to do it. And then, as you all know, I always love an exploded diagram and parts list, because that makes it far easier to buy spares should you have anything break on it. So there is a detailed diagram there of an exploded parts list, which is great. So the manual, quite detailed, quite good. We don't need that for now though, so we'll put that to one side. Inside the packaging, as you can see, it would normally be covered with cellophane. which yeah, we've already broke into that. And then it is stored in a nice polystyrene, it appears to be, kind of moulding, which is good. You know, that'll keep it safe in transport. I'm always happy with that. We get a bag of BBs here with the looks of it, and we also get a hop adjustment tool, which is strange, and a little Allen key. So that's always nice, a little tool there. Pull that to one side, we don't need that for now. And a bag of BBs, which, if they're ASG branded BBs, they shouldn't be too bad. Usually I wouldn't recommend using BBs that are included with a replica. I'd normally get rid of them. We do get one magazine, an extended magazine, which we'll get onto the details of why you'd want an extended magazine for this shortly. It is a green gas magazine, it is full metal. It's quite nice, quite authentic, so that's good. So we've got the green gas magazine there, and then obviously we've got the replica itself, which I will try to remove here without damaging the packaging. Okay, so there we go, there's our replica, the M93R. I think what we'll probably do is we'll have a quick look round the pistol, as we always do, have a look what you think of it, see whether you like the look of it. That's with the magazine in. So let's go around that and then we'll have a quick talk about it. Okay, so there we go. We've had a quick nosy around that replica there just to see what we think. Here it sits in front of us. What I would say is the ASG M93R II is based on the Berreta M93R, which is an Italian firearm in the real steel world. This replica is authentic. It does look very much like the real thing. No experience with the real thing myself, but from all the research I've done, it is pretty authentic to look at. If you're into your movies, the gun that RoboCop used was based on an M93R, obviously heavily modified to make it longer and things, but this is effectively RoboCop's pistol, albeit the standard version of it, not the big modified thing that RoboCop had, but again, what it's based on. Just like the real thing, it is select fire. You have a selector switch on the side here. Now, in the real steel world, I believe it's single shot and 3-round burst. On this replica, I believe you have the option of single shot, 3-round burst, and full auto. So, you know, those details are reasonably authentic as well. The price of one of these, when I've looked around, they do seem very hard to get hold of. Stock on them is very limited. They aren't easy to get hold of from the stores I've looked at, especially here in the UK. If you were looking to buy one of these here in the UK, it's going to set you back around about 145 British pounds all the way up to 170 British pounds, depending on where you buy it from. The prices do seem to vary quite wildly. I've seen them at all sorts of prices, but generally the cheapest I managed to find was £145, and the most expensive I managed to find was over £170, but the vast majority were around about the 150 to 170 British pounds mark. So, you know, do your research if you're getting one, but as I say, most places I looked at did not hold any stock of this particular replica. Now, I believe it's marketed as ASG. It's got brandings on it of ASG, as you'd have seen, but I believe that the OEM for this is KWA. I think that the pistol is manufactured by KWA. You can also buy a KWA one if you don't want to buy the ASG branded one, which is effectively the same pistol. It's a green gas pistol. It's designed to run on green gas, not CO2. So I would probably stick with the green gas on it. The magazine's quite large, should have a big magazine well in there to hold plenty of gas. So hopefully it should be quite gas efficient. With regard to the green gas that's in there, it uses something called KWA's NS2 system. Now, from the research that I've done, there are very mixed reviews on the NS2 system. Universally, people do seem to find that the NS2 system is gas efficient, and that's what they designed it to be. The green gas system that it uses, it basically revolves around the piston head and things, but I won't go into too much technical detail. But the NS2 system is supposed to enable it to be more gas efficient, so you'll get more rounds off per fill of gas. With that in mind, a lot of people have said that you're struggling really to get maybe 1.5, 2 magazines, which is pretty universal for green gas replicas. Some better than others, obviously. I have seen very mixed reviews for this particular replica. Some people say it's great, some people not so much. So it does seem to be very mixed reviews on the KWA or ASG M93R II. My impressions of it, as I say today, my first impressions of it is a full metal build, which is nice. I do like a full metal replica. Want it to look as authentic as possible. All the control systems are there and easy to get at. It's quite a large pistol. The grip, for me, I've got larger hands, as many of you know, and it doesn't fit ultra nicely in my hand. My hands are a little bit big for it. So if you've got smaller hands, even as a large pistol, the grip will accommodate you. All the controls are easy to get at. The slide release here on the side, the takedown lever if you want to take it down. We're not going to take it down today because it's a very realistic takedown process with full instructions in the manual. So, you take it down for cleaning. I'm not going to do that because this one doesn't belong to me. As I say, I'm just giving an overview on it. So we don't want to damage it in any way. The magazine release is just a button on the side here. It's very easy to get to. Everything on this replica is metal. It's all metal, full metal, apart from your pistol grips, which are kind of a rubberized plastic. They're quite nice, they're quite grippy. They're not bad at all. You've got a little fold down grip at the front, just like the real M93R. That's designed for when you're on full auto. It'll give you a bit more control over the replica in the real steel world. This front extended barrel, as it were, is a feature of the M93R. As you can probably tell, it does look very much like just a Berreta M9, but it's a beefed up Berreta M9 because it's got the full auto capabilities. So, as a full metal pistol, it's very nice. The only markings you have here is your 6mm caliber and your ASG branding. On the side here, we've got a couple of stickers. I believe from the research I've done that these fire between 300 to 330 feet per second on a 0.2 gram BB. I would imagine that will vary based on your experiences or the climate that you're working in. If it's particularly cold, then we all know that green gas is not the most efficient in cold weather. It is a blowback pistol, so you will get the full blowback, which is great, and that blowback is, when it's full auto, that's going to whack back and forth like crazy. That brings me on to another point. As with all fully automatic gas blowback replicas, some more than others, but I believe that on this particular replica the sears can be weak. The trigger system, part of the trigger system is your trigger sear. If you use this exclusively on full auto, eventually you are going to wear out your trigger sear, which is another reason you don't want to really use green gas in this pistol. You don't want to be going with black or red gas particularly, because the pressures might get a bit too much for it with it being full auto. So I would certainly recommend to stick to green gas on it. With regards to the actual feel of the pistol, it's quite heavy. There's a bit of weight to it. The magazine is extended, so especially with the magazine in it, there is a bit of weight to it, which I like a weighty pistol. gives it a good feel, good realism. The sights that are on it, the open sights, again, just a bead and notch. But they are highlighted with white dots. I don't know if you can make them out on camera, but they are effective. They work well enough for a sidearm, which is great. From an upgrades point of view, that's the only other downside of one of these pistols. With it using the NS2 system, I believe that upgrades are available for it, but they are limited. I think one of the popular upgrades, again, is to do the trigger system, to ensure that your trigger doesn't wear out. Barrels, that kind of thing. That's where you're going to be looking at with upgrades. Personally speaking, it's not a pistol I would look to upgrade. I think I'd just keep it as it is. I mean, it's pretty beefed up as standard, being an M93R, you know. So yeah, you can get things like a stock for it though. At the bottom here, you all know that I love a lanyard loop. That could be used as a lanyard loop. You would be able to get a lanyard through there, which would be excellent. Always want a lanyard when it's me anyway, so I don't lose anything. But also, that serves a secondary function, that you can attach a stock to this replica. And it's a folding stock that comes out, so you literally can put your front grip down and put it in your shoulder and use it like a little SMG, which is pretty cool. They are available. I believe the stocks that I could find were KSC branded, but those KSC stocks will fit on this ASG KWA M93R, so you could get one of those stocks if you wanted. As loadouts go, it's certainly unusual. I've never seen one of these being used on the field, if I'm being completely honest. I've never seen anybody using one of these. To be fair, you do see M9s on the field, Berreta M9s, but again, they're very rare as well. I mean, I'm only speaking from personal experience. You let me know in the comments if you see loads of these about. But M9s in general, I don't see a lot of on the field. And this M93R, as I say, I've never seen one of these on the field. So it's certainly unusual. You're certainly going to have an eye-catching sidearm if you go with one of these. From my first impressions, I like the feel of it. I like the size of it. It's a big pistol. I like the fold-down stock at the front. I like the fact that it's full metal. I like the fact that you've got the option for full auto, burst fire, or single shot. Me personally, I use a G18C G series pistol, and that's full auto. And to be perfectly honest, I barely ever use it in full auto, but it's nice to have the fun switch there if you want to go a bit crazy. But I tend to use them on semi. But as semi-auto goes, you know, then it's just looking like a beefed up Berreta M9. But you do have that option with your selector switch here to flick over from full to semi and back and forth as you so please. And it is gas blowback, so you get that realism, bit of recoil as it rises. Have to use your front grip for that one. So as I say, as brief introductions go and a brief overview, that's the pistol unbox. That's what I think of it. I would have a better impression of it maybe if I've used it in the field. If any of you guys have any experience with one of these in the field, then do please share in the comments. It helps other people out, helps me out, get a bit more of a feel for this thing. And you know, any comments you put on there, as you all know, I'll always respond to a comment. But that's my unboxing and a little bit of an overview of the ASG M93R II. So if you like the look of this, if you are a player in the Highlands of Scotland and you happen to be near Tazball Airsoft, this is for sale in Tazball Airsoft. You can get it there. They do have one in stock. And I will put links in the description as to where you can find other ones of these if you are looking for one. And I'll also put a link to where you can find details of Tazball. But apart from that, I hope you've enjoyed this short little look at the ASG M93R II. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.